will trigger a reshuffle in the Northcote Tigers backline.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who they slot back there. Both camps certainly had a wee bit to say. Couldn't snuffle my way in there to get any intel for you, Corey. I did my best, but when you're 6'4" at 165 kgs, you're not easy to hide. And a bit of song chirping out there from one of the Northcote ball boys. Okay, looks like we're getting ready to kick off here.
Okay, guys, time our run, let's go. Go, kicker.
So here we go, second half, ladies and gentlemen. The Northcote Tigers lead 16 points to 12 over Papakura. Machu Stone Dunn is off the field. He appears to have done his hammy on the final play of that first half. And we wait to see who will assume the fullback duties for the Tigers. Here's Tuigamala bumping the ball forward. Didn't he have a good first half? A try and some really nice carries to show for it. Kicked well as well, kicking 2 of 3 in terms of conversions. Here's Mafoi Bana to Finota. Finota looks up and runs it straight at the biggest man on the field, and the ball spills loose. Now Senefano picks it up, and he gets the chance to counter straight away. So the Papakura Seagulls looking to draw even for the first time since the start of this game. Here's Naden bumping out of one, but eventually wrestled to ground by Stewart. Beatty to Radic. Ikahihifo is taken the ground. Matipo clears the ruck. Polder. Beatty. Ropati looming out there in the centres. Takes them on. Donnelly does well. Does really well. Takes them into touch, and there was a fair size difference in that particular contest, but the Northcote Tigers hold on well. Nice sliding defence to start the second half.
Absolutely, and just doing a quick recap on the first half. 8 penalties went the way of the Papakura Seagulls, so I dare say the coach would have had a wee bit of a chat around that. They need to pull that back a wee bit. And some of them were quite cheap penalties, which kept Kira in the game. And in regards to completion rates, Tigers 6, and just on that last passage of play in the first half, Papakura Seagulls out to 7. So that's us up to date.
So Tuigamala with the first carry runs it at Setefano. Playing big minutes, got through the whole first half and still on the field. Speaking of big minutes, David Barner as well, another one that is yet to have a break. Perhaps he'll go the full 80. Mafoi. Finota now bumps him up to 5 out from halfway.
All good. Go.
Tiaho gets us to the kick. It's a high one for Singh. Contested as well, did really well in the face of plenty of pressure that time, Andre Singh. And scooped it up beautifully. Hunt to Stowers. Beatty, they're going to move it early here. Armiger goes out to the wing, but they're well organised there. Are the Tigers. Vitinia Bua takes him to ground. Ropati.
Go 3.
Armiger now to Beatty, and they will centralise via Junior Pitta.
Go 4.
Radic to Tassisi. Radic now on the last play. He's going to go to the line. The ball's loose. Is that play on? No, it's not. Called back. Forward past the call. Singh was into open space, but it won't matter. So Papakura Seagulls with 2 chances to register tries in the first 3 minutes of this second half. Both of them break down. The first one, Ropati taken into touch, and that time forward pass ruled in the lead up to Andre Singh breaking down the left-hand side.
Hey, don't work in 7. Oh. Go 1. 2 up. Hold.
Vitini Abua came off the interchange,
Release.
relieved Barner of the dummy half duties for a short time. And he may have been one of the men to move around in that positional reshuffle
Help.
for the Tigers.
Hold. Go 4.
Barner wanting a quick play of the ball. Jumps out and will kick as well, and is the first one leading the chase. Cleaned up by Stowers, who sees nothing but Northcote jerseys. Doesn't worry him because he shakes out a 1, shakes out a 2.
Here.
And now the Papakura Seagulls look to ruck it out from their own end. There's big contact by Finota up on Ropati.
Go. 2.
Down the right-hand side they come via Armiger.
Movement, Marky. All the way right. Go. 3.
So Pitta takes them up over halfway.
4.
Phoenix Hunt jumps out. Space there for Phoenix Hunt. Still going and is taking the ground 20 out from the line.
Here.
Battles for a few extra meters. Armiger to Beatty. Beatty dribbles a kick in behind. Waterson's on hand to clean it up. The chase is good from Papakura.
You're on.
Somehow stays in the field of play there under heavy pressure, and now Northcote with a fair bit of work to do. Toigamala puts their head down,
Moving.
and that's a brilliant carry up against their own line.
Go 2.
Tiaho to Stewart.
Movement. Hold. Go 3.
Big human.
Stand, Mark.
Is indeed Mafoi.
Hold. Go 4.
Tafutu gets some second phase away. Vitini and Bua turns back to the inside to Donnelly, and they get away from that sideline. Last tackle coming up. 5 minutes gone in the second half. It is the Northcote Tigers leading 16 points to 12. Tamotsi kick with a good little kick down the sideline, and it's a pretty nice little set that time from the Northcote Tigers, considering they started right up against their own try line. And both teams just sort of testing each other early in the second half. Troy, a couple of nice completions, and it's getting pretty physical in the middle of the park as well.
Yeah, just touching on the physical there, the number 5 Northcote winger. I think he's taken a bit of a shot to the rib cage there. He's still clutching himself. So might have to shake off a little bit of pain there.
Yeah, and Ted Donnelly, he's been carrying that since the start of the game. It was only probably 10 minutes old when he first was clutching at the ribs there in the in goal. So that's obviously something that he is going to have to battle through in this game. Does look in a fair bit of pain, Troy, and as you know, with a rib injury, it affects everything you do in the game of rugby league. So we'll keep an eye on Donnelly and how he progresses through this match.
Go 1 marker.
Phoenix Hunt, he's starting to come to life a little bit as well. We know from experience last year just how dangerous he can be. Andre Singh now gets into dummy half and does a bit of work. It's a nice carry from Singh. Mentioned earlier, represented the New Zealand Defence Force on Anzac Day against Australia. Stowers now gets out a 1 and is taking the ground. Looked a bit ugly, but it was safe. Or no, it wasn't.
You're slow over there. Slow again.
And in fact, it's going to
Going
be
on, but in the wrestle,
a second effort in there, and Willie Stowers gives him a serve at the end of it as well. So it's all starting to fire up a little bit here at Prince Edward Park.
Line, guys.
4 points the difference, 7.5 minutes gone in the second half. Papakura with their third opportunity of the second half to register some points, and it will start with Naden, who taps and goes. Driving those legs, they're 10 out from the line here, the Seagulls. Radic rushes the dummy half, gets on the end of a quick play, the ball then dances out of Stewart's tackle. Finota and Bywater coming in to slow his progress.
Hold.
Phoenix Hunt at dummy half, directing traffic. It's going to go short instead. And it is Niraj Sahuta. They get a penalty as well.
Stripping the ball through the ball.
David Barner called to have come up with the strip there, and we'll have 6 again coming up for the Papakura Seagulls. See what they can put together. Will it be Stowers, Radic or Beatty? Phoenix Hunt one to watch as well. Back to it they go. Sahuta leaves one on the ground. He leaves Bywater, who to his credit gets straight back up, and Bywater's won that battle because there's a knock on and there's a bad injury in the background there, and that looks like a nasty one. So we're going to have a fairly long stoppage here as we
Oh, that's not good.
come away from that one, and you can hear there the referee saying that's not good as well. So this will be a serious injury and a fair break here.
And for the Tigers, you know, rappelling on their line like they were, back-to-back penalties, Papakura was certainly putting them under the pump. And when that player went down, it was, you know, the opposition player, rightly so, brought the trainers on immediately. So it may be a head clash there. No, leg. As I talked to Corey, the doctor.
Yeah, that's right, Dr. Rosser with his medical analysis, and
he pointed towards a limb.
I can confirm there is a limb facing the wrong way, and that is the extent of my medical assessment on that one. But yeah, certainly a serious injury. So immediately, of course, our thoughts go out to the player and the medical team on the way, and the call was straight away to call an ambulance. We will be in for a fairly long break here, which perhaps gives Troy and I a chance to chat about some of the other things going on in the Auckland Rugby League, and we've got College Rugby League starting up in a couple of weeks' time, Troy. Of course, we always love getting out to the college games. We expect the usual suspects will be there, Kelston Boys High School, but in recent years, the likes of Wesley College coming into the competition have added plenty. It's always a good competition. What are you picking we might see this year from the school comp?
Well, each year's, you know, different. I know you've picked a couple of favourites there. It'll be interesting to see how Mount Albert Grammar go around this season. A little bit of a favourite of mine, just quietly. St Paul's are always competitive in that space. And Kelston, who you've rightly named. There's a couple, I think, that are late to confirm if they're actually in. I'm not sure about Westlake Boys. But, you know, looking forward, as you said, you know, Wednesdays we go to air with the College Rugby League. And you get to see the next generation of the rock stars coming through. And, you know, rightly so, you can name a few of the people that have come through the system, Corey. Yeah,
that's right. And, of course, with us being involved with it for a few years now, it's really nice to actually see these players come through, and not just into Auckland competitions, but in some cases into NRL setups as well. And a few of them on the field here today. Of course, Xavier Rice, who played for Northcote over the last few years. He was at St Paul's and has since gone over to London Scholars, playing some really good footy over there, along with another Auckland product, and Isaac Arkoyatmore.
Absolutely.
So wishing both those boys well, and trust their seasons are going well. Of course, plenty of Auckland talent over there in England as well. So plenty going on in the Auckland League space. We've got Kiwi Tag ramping up as well, the tertiary Kiwi Tag, which is going to be taking place in a couple of weeks' time. And Troy, we've been involved a little bit with the Kiwi Tag. That's really blown up since being introduced in, I think it was November last year.
Absolutely. And one of the big things I think the clubs brought in on was the Kiwi Tag Club versus Club. And really cool, you know, see Mangere East out there playing Mount Albert, or, you know, whichever of the clubs that turned up to represent with the young fellas out there. So I think there's a lot of potential around the Kiwi Tag, and if you haven't registered a team in the tertiary Kiwi Tag games, then make sure you do so, and you can get to that through aucklandleague.co.nz.
Yeah, that's right. Really looking forward to that tournament. It's going to be good to see some of that young talent rolled out as well for the Kiwi Tag competitions. And we had junior and senior competitions played at that club versus club concept, and Troy, I'm glad you highlighted that, because I think there is something special about, you know, it's all very well playing for your social team, which carries whatever name, but when you can put on the team uniform and do it that way, it always means a little bit more. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, there is an extended break going on here as we wait for, I believe, the ambulance to arrive. So we will do our best with fill in the gaps here, ladies and gentlemen, but we'll just have to wait and see what the future of this game holds. It is certainly a serious injury. So we'll take a very short break, come back and just try and keep you updated with what the progress is here at Prince Edward Park. Yeah, it was facing the wrong way. I think the bone was out too. Okay, so you all seen the ambulance pulling in the background there, and might get our cameraman just to pan away perhaps to the Northcote side of the field as all of that is dealt with. And of course, we're back here tomorrow, Troy, for the gala day. Very much looking forward to that. Always great to see the kids getting out and having a good time. Savannah will be on hand to be taking a few photos and getting a few interviews as well. So keep an eye on Auckland League on Monday. We'll put all the content from the gala day up on there. And of course, if you are interested in accessing the replays from these games or any of the live stream games, in fact, Troy will be able to talk us through the way you do that.
Absolutely. You can get to all of that through the ARL TV channel on YouTube. To get to there on www.aucklandleague.co.nz. And we back up every game week to week that are played. And that's brought to you by SAS Fox for the Premiership and Crown Lift Trucks who look after our Fox Championship. All of the live stream matches are brought by our live stream partners CTAS. And as we can see, the Tigers are sort of just gathering up now, and they'll start warming up and getting their heads back into the game. And the Papakura Seagulls have just broken away from the cluster down there, and their trainer's having a word to them now and getting them ready to warm up as well. If you've just joined us, a little break in the game. Probably not meant to be a pun there, Corey, as one of our players has suffered a pretty serious leg injury, but not to worry. The St John's ambulance are on site and they're tending to his care as we speak.
Yep, and I will just very quickly give a shout out to St John, who were on the scene very, very quickly. So great of them to get here as quickly as possible. And for the players, well, this is almost like a extended half-time after having a half-time only 10 minutes ago, so it can be a little bit disruptive. And as you see, they've gone into their standard sort of warm-up procedures now, so this will be hard to navigate for the players, and in particular for the Papakura Seagulls, who of course have seen their mate go down injured. It's always hard to overcome these things mentally. So still a little way from resuming play here today, but we'll maybe talk a little bit about the Farrelly Photos Women's Competition. A big shout out to Mike at Farrelly Photos for his support of Women's Rugby League. It's the final round of the qualifiers this weekend, and Mount Albert, probably the early pace setters along with Manurewa and Papakura, looking really, really good in that competition. Troy, I think we'll be streaming some women's games down the track as well. Of course, the Women in League Day, which has been running for a number of years, always a wonderful event.
Yes, so just touching on that, with a few of the forward-thinking Auckland Rugby League clubs, we've managed to try and anticipate a number of curtain raisers and looking at our under-16 boys, under-18 boys, under-16 girls, under-18 girls, and where possible, securing those fixtures, and we'll be able to probably announce them over the next 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, really looking forward to being able to bring people some of that action, and that girls age grade space has grown every year since it was introduced. This year got an under-18s competition for the first time, and the grades adjusted so that basically girls, if they choose to, can play in girls only grades at that under-12 level and then play right through. So what it means now is there's that seamless path from the under-6s through to senior women's football, and of course with the opportunities available now at the elite levels, Troy, the Vodafone Warriors women's team, which plays in the NRLW competition, and of course internationally with our Kiwi Ferns. And I know, even in the time you and I have been working doing the live streaming here, to see the way that the women's competition has developed and seeing those girls' grades. Some of those girls have some crazy skills, and some of the ball playing's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely, and we've been very fortunate, to live stream some of these girls in action and to cover the grand finals. And as you've rightly said, been some fantastic football, and they certainly know how to, play rugby league for certain.
And speaking of the Warriors, who I mentioned earlier, of course, they're in action tomorrow, taking on the Newcastle Knights. A number of our Auckland boys will be in action in that one. We're still waiting to see if David Fusitua can shake off that rib injury. Of course, the Maris Saints Junior suffered that injury a couple of weeks ago. He didn't get through much contact work at training this week, so we'll wait to see if he takes the field. And of course, the big news, Kodi Nikarima, officially a Warrior as of yesterday. He arrives in Auckland tomorrow.
That's a secret to tell
that's
the
right,
bag.
Breaking, yes indeed. But look, certainly exciting times for the Warriors with some new talent coming across. Chanel Harris-Tavita, the young Hornets, and Richmond Junior. I thought he did a wonderful job over the last few weeks running the show, particularly with Blake Green out on the field. And then looking further ahead, Troy, we've got the big test coming up. The Kiwis up against Tonga, and I know Tonga holds a special place in your heart. That's going to be a massive game at Mount Smart.
Yeah, and I think, seeing the passion and all of those people coming out into the red and white flags being out there certainly adds an extra dimension to rugby league fans.
So we can see Northcote now going through their little drills here and just getting through some field work, I guess you would call it, as they try and just keep their minds and bodies on the job here. Of course, one thing to stay warm, but you've got to stay mentally focused. There's likely to be a game to get back to in a couple of minutes, and in fact Troy, I think, might have a little update for us in a moment's time. Shout out to our referees, doing a very good job handling a difficult situation here.
So just a quick chat with the man from the centre. They're about ready to bundle the player up and to take him off now to get professional care through St John's and to the hospital. So we'll be running to the referee's clock today, and big shout out also to Crown Lift Trucks, who sponsor the referees for us, and really proud to have them involved with the game. One of the cool things that's happened this year in the Auckland Rugby League tour, and there's just been so much activity, not up to date, but also for the rest of the season, was the Auckland Vulcans team that played the Warriors under 16. How cool was that?
Yeah, excellent opportunity for the youngsters from both teams, and at under 16 level, you're really getting a look at the next generation of talent, and no doubt in 3 or 4 years' time, we'll see some of those boys start to come through into elite competitions. But the Vulcans is all about giving players an opportunity, and at times,
Yep.
the players who otherwise wouldn't get a chance to play rep football, of course, national champions last year. How can we forget?
Yeah, and I just want a big shout out to Andy Hay. I mean, he's doing a fantastic job down there. They've got a lot of programs that they're rolling out. And Andy and his team, there's coaching clinics at the moment online. So if you want to get into those, again, on the Auckland Rugby League website, www.aucklandleague.co.nz, go through to the coaching clinic section there and see if you can't secure yourself a spot. So yes, the Vulcans team, champs last year, and to take that on to be able to play the Warriors at Mount Smart number 1, what a memory that would be for some of those boys.
Yeah, and hopefully it's something that they can get going and make it a regular sort of thing. And I know certainly the feedback from all of the players was that, hey, let's try and get this going every year. So wonderful opportunity as well, and to play on the big stadium. Of course, we you know what that means as a kid, to run out there on that same turf that your heroes do. It's a big thing. So well done
Absolutely.
to everyone involved in organising that one, and of course that all links in with the Region of Origin series, which we'll be bringing you at the end of the year. See, we're in sync now after all this time, Troy. But yeah, the Region of Origin, well, it was brilliant last year, going to be even better this year. We've got girls taking part as well this year, which is really exciting. That's a concept that's only going to get bigger. Yeah,
further development from Andy and his team, and I mean, again, doing a fantastic job. And to be fair, whilst we thoroughly love, the Fox footy and the college and all the stuff that we're, fortunate to be involved with, that Origin series, man, that was really, really good stuff. So make sure that you tune into that at the back end of the season. That'll be live streamed as well, brought to you through our live stream partner, CTAS.
So hopefully not too far away from resuming play here, ladies and gentlemen. We do apologise for the pause in play. Not much we can do about this particular one, but perhaps look at some of the guys that have impressed. And for me, from this Northcote team, Nalo Tuigamala has been really, really strong. Scored a try, he's kicked goals well, and all his carries have carried plenty of venom with them. A shout out as well to David Barner, who's holding that middle together nicely. They've been led around the park well as well by Jordan Tiaho and Morgan Tamoti Cook. Troy, I'll get your thoughts on the Northcote Tigers so far, maybe if anyone's standing out, or some thoughts just on the general style of play.
For me. I mean, every time he's had the ball, he's either made people second guess in a crowded space on the outside, or he's gone over himself with the ball. Just strong on defence, strong on the attack. Really like what he's been doing. For the Papakura Seagulls, I think we're just starting to see a glimmer of Hunt inject himself into the game, and he certainly changes the speed around the ruck. And just fortunate for the Tigers, you'd have to say, well, they were repelling the Seagulls on the line down here. Back-to-back penalties in that last passage of play. Then, the accident happened with the player, having attendance by St John's. Sort of just let the pressure off a wee bit. So, Papakura will want to start off where they, start where they left off from.
Yeah.
And for Northcote, as you see them on screen now, they'll be wanting to regather and certainly, put some steel in the defence line. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next few moments.
And it's an interesting system Papakura are running. Willie Stowers is named at fullback, and he's certainly defending at fullback. He's the one fielding the bombs, but he's coming in at first receiver a lot, and I really like it. I think Willie's a player. The more often you can get the ball in his hands, the better that's going to be, and he's combining really well with BT and Radic in the halves as well. They've certainly got a star-studded spine, and they're still missing George Edwards, Troy, who you touched on, who's missing one of the better fullbacks in the competition.
Through the first half, and I wasn't too sure because, as you get older, Corey, your eyesight starts to go. And, no, I didn't see Georgie Edwards on the park. So, they've still got a wee bit of talent to come back into their roster. And, it's not like they're undercooked, but, they've certainly got a few stars off the park at the moment. So, probably been hearing the helicopters whirring around on the park here. We've got a wee bit of activity down here at Prince Edward today. And if you've just joined us and wondering why we're looking at a cluster of Northcote Tigers, we've suffered an injury here today, and they're just off screen as the players being attended to. And St John's ambulance are about to lift that player into the back of the ambulance. Next week, we're at the home of the Vikings, and they will be hosting Glenora Bears. And I knew it was the Glenora Bears by the way your eyebrows went up and you went Glenora Bears. And that'll be an interesting match as well.
Yeah.
We sort of touched on Bay Roskill at last week's match. The kid Vogel in at fullback, man, how good's he?
Yeah, look, a really good team. I know they lost last week, but I thought they were really, really good. They just couldn't hold on to the ball was really the chief reason, and Maris played a really good game, managed to overcome them in the, they had it over them for the most part of the game, but held strong at the back end there. But as you mentioned, there is some real brilliant talent. Vogel at fullback, Moses Ongi, who played really well in the middle of the park, Justice Leo Sevi, who I thought was really good, and pretty cool that some of these guys are kids that have come through the College Rugby League system as well. Justice, who we called in action for Kelston, along with his cousin Xavier Tutaki. So I'm really looking forward to that game. It's a bit of a local derby, obviously. Bay Roskill up against the Glenora Bears, and the Bears are travelling pretty well. I know you and I both watched them in action against Point Chevalier in round one. That was a victory for them, and they picked up the Stormont Shield. They look fit and they look fast.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That was one thing that struck me straight away. Not only fit and fast, there's a slight clap going on in the background there as a few of the trainers are lifting the player up for the St John's ambulance medic staff, is how fit and fast they actually were around the park. They made Point Chevalier on that night look a little bit rusty, to say the least, and it'll be interesting to see if they can, keep that momentum, sustain that sort of pace through the rest of the season.
And I think having Phil Kingy obviously running the trainings, I think Phil is a personal trainer, I believe, by trade. So you would certainly expect that their off-season was fairly rigorous, and he's certainly got them in good shape. Shout out to Ross Ueli as well.
Yeah, just going to say too, the big boy there scored for the for his home team last night.
Yeah, that's right. Braden getting over for the match winner, it turned out, in the end, and what an occasion to do it. I think it was his first NRL try. He goes over for a try to beat the Melbourne Storm in what has become a real rivalry game. So really, really cool to see that happen. And the Sharks, well, they were big outsiders in that one. Sean Johnson was out of action. Kyle Flanagan ran the show nicely in the halves. So
big round of applause. Sorry, Corey. Big round of applause there. Just going on in the background now as the players being seen off. And man, that chopper is going round and round and round. I hope that's not Eagle One looking for a random Harley Davidson rider. He's probably wanted in South Auckland, but he hasn't left the scene, has he?
And for those wondering, he is referencing our CEO, Greg, who is here in his bike gear. He's been out to a few games today, and I think we're all making the most out of the fine weather, getting out to watch a bit of junior footy. And
Ellerslie, just getting a relayed message in there, and he left at half-time, 10-8 at half-time, and who was up? Ellerslie. Well, looks like head coach there is hanging on by a claw.
Well, that shaped as a brilliant game, didn't it? Ellerslie up against Pukekohe. I think that potentially would be one of the better games you're going to see in that Fox Championship qualifying series. So we wait for confirmation of that. We will have all the results up for you at around 4:45, and then the match reports to follow soon after that. Of course, our workday will be extended a little today, just due to this pause in play.
Yep. But it's been a fantastic day for rugby league. The weather's been absolutely stunning down here at Prince Edward Park, as all of the footballers now have to get their heads back in the game, to say the least.
And a really nice show from the Northcote Tigers as well. Troy, you touched on it in the background. There was a round of applause. The whole Northcote Tigers team has gone over there. A brilliant show of sportsmanship, remembering we're in a fairly heated game right now, 16 points to 12.
Absolutely.
But great to see the Tigers put it to one side. And, we saw Jeff Morton and Mike Phillips going over to check on the welfare of the player. Of course, it's one thing to compete, but at the end of the day, most of these boys have work tomorrow, so great to see the care being shown and that sportsmanship across the board.
So welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. If you've had a cup of tea, got a scone, we're getting ready for kickoff. And camera crew, if you could just pan across to the side of the park there where the players are now starting to gather, and we can see the ambulance now getting ready to depart and get that player some professional health care. And as Corey rightly said, big thank you to St John's Ambulance being on the park as quick as they were.
Yep, and I do once again just want to touch on our match officials who have done a brilliant job of dealing with this very, very difficult situation to deal with, but the match officials done a really good job and the ambulance leaves. So our thoughts go out to the injured player, but we are about to get back to action, ladies and gentlemen. And let's not forget, we have a huge game on our hands here. There's 4 points the difference right now, 8 minutes and a bit gone in the second half. Really looking forward to the resumption of play here as time gets called back on and we get back to it. Northcote Tigers on the ball, and it will be Manueli Vetinabua to get us back underway after this stoppage of probably the best part of half an hour. And we are now back into it. Northcote working it out.
All the way.
To Moti Cook, to Bywater. Bywater runs it to Sessi and Hunt. And has taken the ground. Good wrestle from Phoenix. Hunt needs to be careful he doesn't overdo it here. He's all tangled up, gets out eventually. Barner to Vetinabua. Hint of a high shot there, play on is the call. And he's got the arm free, gets the offload away to Barner. Barner now to Timothy Cook. Tully dances his way through and then gets hit hard by Stefano. 40 out from the line. So Tully may have assumed that fullback spot as well. Tiaho gets decked in back play. Stowers back to collect. Play on is the call. There was heavy contact, but all legal according to our match officials. And Willie Stowers will be tackled 5 out from the line. So Armiger, a try scorer earlier in the match. The first half read the kick of Drew Radic beautifully. Here's Ropati. Dances at the line and then goes straight. And Northcote do well to get him to the ground, and a bit of push and shove at the end of it as well, which is not appreciated. Junior Pitta. Good line speed from Northcote. They're getting up in their face and really restricting those meters. Last tackle now coming up. Beatty goes to the line and then kicks. It's a driven one. And at the back, it is Tully that has assumed that fullback role, which means we've probably got a back rower shifting out to the centres. Tully runs it straight at Drew Radic and just about goes through as well. And it finishes 30 out from the line. Stefano involved in the tackle. Tully wanting the penalty. Waterson now comes in for a bit of work. Seo Stefano, he's been everywhere today. Troy, brilliant on attack and getting through a fair chunk in defence as well.
Ton of work on the attack. Had some good, strong carries.
So Barner, 5 short of halfway. Here's Tuigamala winding up.
He's had a fantastic day today in the office, that boy.
Barner to Finota, the captain. Goes hard and low and gets decked to ground. Last tackle coming up. Playmakers set either side of the ruck. They'll go the way of Timothy Cook, who wants to run it. Timothy Cook breaks through the first one now. Options on his nest. He won't need them. Morgan Timothy Cook. A little bit of individual brilliance from the makeshift halfback, and he powers his way over the line. Heads up football from Timothy Cook. Troy will talk us through the replay.
As the SAS Fox Memorial action replay comes up, we can see it shifting from the ruck, just offline there, and didn't really look to go to the outside, just stepped inside, faded away there. They were falling off him as he was heading to the line, and he shaped the pass, boom, sold that, said thanks very much. Tigers in, 4 points. And that certainly calmed the encouragement on the hill over there, as there's a couple of green teas being had and the sun starts to go down here at Prince Edward Park.
Morgan may have been fairly happy with that try just quietly. The celebration afterwards was certainly spirited, to say the least. Wears his heart on his sleeve, of course, the Northcote boy. He scored in the semi-final as well, and that heartbreaking loss for the Tigers last year. Tuigamala now lines this one up, his easiest kick of the day.
Please don't say that, Corey.
And no mistake from Nalu. There's no putting the commentator's curse on him today. So that stretches the lead now out to 10. It is the Northcote Tigers 22, Papakura Seagulls 12. 53 minutes gone here at Prince Edward Park, and after that long stoppage, I thought both teams handled it pretty well. A couple of nice sets, but Northcote once again
took advantage of it. Absolutely, they went the length of the field on that first set, and as you see there, they've gone the length of the field again with a nice little break. Fantastic finish, and got 4 points on the board. So this becomes a wee bit of a mental game now, and let's see how Papakura respond.
They're showing they can do it. Came back in that first half. It's only 10 points. Still 27 minutes to go in this one.
No early, Tura. Go kicker.
So back to it we go. High one, which will go down towards the in goal, fielded by Tiaho, who then goes to Finota, runs it straight back at Serafano. Love to see his tackle count today. Been brilliant on the edge. Tuigamala winds up for another one, drives low this time, and taken down 22 off the line.
Here we are, hold. Go two.
Bywater.
Deceptively tough, isn't he? Yeah.
Go three.
He's having a good game. This has made the team of the week last week
Good
as
run.
well. So we see a nice carry from Ruka Tipaina. Bana jumps out, takes him up over halfway. Still going as David Bana, and standing. It was a brilliant carry. Quick play the ball off the back of it as well. Tully, now he will run. Tully with front foot ball, dances through. Offload out the back to Bana. To Tuigamala, who will kick. Chase needs to be good here for Northcote. It is, it's spilled. Stowers has put it down. It's cleaned up just in the nick of time by Andre Singh. Stowers straight away, the hand is up to apologise there. This will be a dropout. Andre Singh, Johnny on the spot to clean up and save a certain 4 points from being conceded there. But once again, the Northcote Tigers, didn't they handle that set well? That carry from David Bana.
Storming. Not a bad drop.
Finota winds it up, takes it straight back at Pitta, who does well to hold on.
Go one.
Bana back in field to the interchange man, Ruka Tipaina. Bywater hanging off Bana's shoulder. Bana's going to go himself. Eventually help arrives for the Papakura Seagulls. They tackle him right in front of the SAS uprights. 10 metres to travel here for the Tigers. Timothy Cook, he's not going to do it again, is he? Not this time. BT holds on down low. Tully, the dummy half. Jumps out, plays to Bywater. Bywater goes low. Has he got there, Joe? Yes, he has. Northcote are in again. Joe Bywater. Well, just moments ago, Troy highlighted his toughness, and that time put the head down and just determined to get to the try line.
SAS Fox Memorial action replay. And after sustained pressure by the Tigers down here, we see them shift to the right-hand side. And there's Mr. Tough Guy. Drags a couple across the line. And that's a try. Good effort because he's had a solid game today.
I think you may have just given him a new nickname at training, Troy. He might not live that one down, Mr. Tough Guy. But nice stuff from Joe Bywater and Nalu Tuigamala to line up this conversion from a similar spot to where he took his last one off Timothy Cook's try. And crucially, this now stretches it out to that 14-point lead. It's a 3-score game as it stands, with Tuigamala to attempt the conversion. So Tuigamala steps in, accurate once again, and it is the Tigers who lead 28 points to 12 over the Papakura Seagulls. All of a sudden there is now a little bit of urgency about the Seagulls' response. They need one, and they need one quickly as we head into the final 20 minutes here at Prince Edward Park. If you're just tuning in, we've come back from a long delay for an injury, and it is the Northcote Tigers in control here in round 5 of the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership qualifiers. A big shout out to SAS. Great supporters of the local game through the Fox, the Sharman Cup this year, and the College Rugby League as well.
Run. All good.
So Finota will get us back underway.
Up the ball, 9! Hold!
Vitini Abua been good off the interchange, played big minutes as well.
Movement, 2! Hold! No, 2.
Bywater.
Help, no. Up!
And a penalty on the back end of it. Well, that is not what they needed. Hemi Douglas, the man to infringe.
Moving away. 2. Work. Yeah, I just got him, mate. I got him, mate. I got him, mate. That's fine, okay.
So the traffic swinging now, the momentum going the Tigers' way. No, it's not found touch.
Well, Cardinal sin. Timothy Cook, we will forgive him. He's not usually a halfback. And now Arminger jumps out looking to steal some metres. Timothy Cook ragdolls him to ground.
Hey, stand! All the way, 8, yeah. Straight up, go 3.
They move play on now. Setofano with the little goose step. Takes him up over halfway.
Go 4.
Great tackle. Cut him down.
DeCessi it was with the carry. Now Beatty with some front foot ball. Chips over the top. Chase coming through. Collected. Andre Singh. Beautiful. Papakura are going to go in. What about that? Lovely, lovely rugby league. In tune. Beatty with the kick, and Andre Singh. A brilliant run in behind. And they pull Papakura back into this match.
Wow, the SAS Fox replay. We can see Kura moving a nice little dink over the top, and what a fantastic kick it was, and just got the luxury on the bounce, and that gives him something to sing about as he goes to the line. We'll let the pitchers do the talking.
Well done. Okay, well done.
And that one there is going to get thrashed on the Auckland Rugby League replay, and you'll find that on YouTube channel through the aucklandragbyleague.co.nz.
Lovely kick from Beatty as well on the money.
Yeah,
And you're right,
awesome.
Troy, it was a kind bounce, which another day might go a different direction. But Papakura, boy, did they need that. So Radic now to attempt the conversion from in front and reduce this deficit back to 10. Right on the hour mark. Kick is good, and we're back to a 10-point ball game here at Prince Edward Park.
Fantastic rider reply too, keeps them in the hunt.
I thought that might be a Phoenix Hunt pun for a minute there, Troy.
Don't be silly, Corey.
It's got to
Don't
the
be
point
silly.
now where it's infiltrated
Please,
your
Corey,
everyday
please.
language.
Talk to the hand.
So we get ready to get back underway. Referee Price just talking to one of the Northcote players, reminding him it wasn't a bad kick. I'm not sure the Northcote players interested. So it will be Timothy Cook to get us back underway with about 19 to play.
No early Northcote, timeout run. You go kick up.
And
It's a
it's a
high
high one. Radic with a tester. Takes it beautifully with Tuigamala breathing down his neck. Drew does well that time. To Sessi. Will there be a bit of a fire in the belly of Papakura all of a sudden? They know they've got a sniff of this game. Serafano lines up.
Oh,
Leaves
big
one
carry.
on the ground. He's been just about their best on the ground today.
Stand up. Go through.
Short now to Taylor Polder with Howick last year. A valuable addition to this Papakura pack as the Sea Eagles hunt their second victory of the year. 1 in round 1 and then 3 losses on the trot. Knock on the call from the touchy, but play on is the call, and now it will go out to Ropati, who is very hard to bring down,
Yep.
and we'll get a play the ball at the end of that. So there was a call of a knock on in the lead up there, but referee Price chose to overrule it, I think. And then at the end we get the similar result anyway, with Northcote back on the ball. Vetini Abua now looking to restart play. The Tigers sitting on this perfect record through the first month of the competition, 4 from 4, including an impressive 38-14 victory over Richmond last week. Tafutu gets rid of one. Timoti Cook, dummies, goes on a little run, little half gap there, and wasn't far off breaking through that time, Timoti Cook. Tiaho chips over the top. Tuigamala in pursuit. Was he tackled off the ball? No, in front is the call. Tuigamala ruled offside, and Tuigamala's stayed down after that. He's in a bit of discomfort here as Nalu.
Yeah, we're going that way though. He's behind play.
So Tuigamala in all sorts of trouble in back play. Play on is the call, and we'll keep an eye on Nalu's status as he jogs back into the line. So they're down to 12 in the defensive line right now are the Northcote Tigers. Naden will go one out to start. Tuigamala making his way back into the line. They're back to their full complement. Now are Northcote. Radic to Setafano. Setafano gets rid of one, gets the offload away as well, and then it's Radic to Beatty, half to half. They go out the back once again. This time it's the big number 8, Hemi Douglas. And a knock on, just as it was starting to build. The ball gets spilt there. Boy, they're playing some nice footy side-to-side stuff, Troy, but the execution that time a little off, and handling errors have been a bit of a problem for them today.
Certainly alleviates a bit of pressure for the Tigers, and has their man come back on. Are they back to 13?
Yep.
Been doing all day. You got headgear
Let's get
on.
ready for the
Covering
scrum
your
to
head.
pack down.
Let's go.
Tigers have had a really, really good day on the ball today, shifting it from side to side. You know, their management's just been outstanding. They've certainly
You got one captain.
showed a lot of class, and
Yeah, let's go.
you know, fair to say they're a dark horse inside the championship. You know, and there's the the build up at the start of the interviews with the coaches. Even I think the head coach was surprised to be there on top of the ladder.
Oh, and I think when you lose players the class of Taylor Daniels, Trent Schonkel,
yeah.
Xavier Rice as well, who we haven't mentioned, Thomas Connick, who was brilliant for them in the halves as well. So they have lost a fair bit of talent, but so far no real issues. They will come up with some big tests in the next few weeks, so they play some of the competition's top sides, and that will give a real good indication of where they are at. Tuigamala now has shaken off that earlier knock and straight back into it. 10 points the gap, 28 plays 18. 15 minutes to play here at Prince Edward Park.
Movement, markers, square. Hold, go three.
Oh,
Ball comes out.
popped it.
Is that knocked on? It is now.
Yeah, it is.
Lock.
And now Papakura to pack down a scrum. Well, plenty of errors starting to come into this game in the last 7 or so minutes. So
Hey guys,
Papakura,
I'll make the scrum.
task number 1 will be complete the set, start to build some pressure. They have the time if they can find the points. Scored 18 so far. They need 10 within the next 14 minutes if they are to have a chance. And this one, and
What's he blowing it for?
a penalty the way of Papakura. The penalty on the scrum, and Andre Singh taps and goes straight through the middle and holding on for dear life. David Barner, that might well have saved the try. Phoenix Hunt now gets on the end of a quick play the ball. He dances through for a couple more metres. Still going as Phoenix Hunt. the reigning Auckland Player of the Year, showing his quality. Singh, looping ball over the top. It's claimed by Beatty, who will reset and straighten, looking for a chink in the armour of this Northcote team. Ball is loose. Ropati picks it up. Knock on is the call in back play.
Hey? I've got a knock on, mate. It's got a call. I've got a knock on call? Yeah,
Conversation.
Okay? That's it.
Everyone's wanting to help the ref now. So we're going with a handling error, knock on.
Yeah, knock on Papakura.
Let's go, guys. Scrum. Go. Guys, over here. Boys, follow me. Scrum's over here. Guys, you're seeing the footballers and acting like 4-year-olds. Do it properly.
This is what I was alluding to in the first half. You know, it seems to be big conversations and chats as they get ready to pack down onto the scrums.
Well, the referee's just delivered a stinger. Your senior footballers playing like 4-year-olds, I believe, was the line. Probably fair enough. Oh dear, a bit of humour for our Saturday afternoon. Trust you're enjoying the coverage, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by CTAS, live and free on aucklandleague.co.nz. A big thank you to the Auckland Rugby League Board of Directors for continuing to push the live stream initiative now as Nalu Tuigamala winds it up. Penalty as well.
Oh, that's just coach killer.
Too long. Roll away. What are we doing?
In the back of my mind, I'm sort of hoping for another scrum so we can hear some more comedy from the ref. We won't get one just yet. So they kick for touch.
That's silly, man.
And Northcote now will start this set about 40 out from the line. Kenny Stewart, who had a double within the first 10 minutes of this game. Fairly quiet so far in the second half.
All the way. Hold. Go one.
Barner. This is Hikiti taking the ground.
17 early.
Tamoti Cook is back inside to Vitinia Bua. Northcote looking to perhaps put this result beyond doubt. Tiaho joins in late at the line, steps through one, steps through two. Just holding on down low that time. Penalty on the back of it.
No.
Do you take the two?
Not called for. No.
Well,
Penalty.
big decision here for Northcote. Do you take the two and stretch it out to that 12-point buffer?
Not needed.
And that is just what they'll do. So they'll attempt the two from right in front, look to chew off another 2 or so minutes.
And the drama continues. Crosstown Pukekohe playing Ellerslie. They've had an injury sustained as well, and they're still playing an extra time.
Well, there you go. So free football all round. We could be playing deep into darkness tonight as it goes.
Okay, quick update here, Corey. You want to get those off?
So we've got Otahu who up 24-20 over Mount Albert.
We're behind time, so these games are all completed.
So that's full time. So perhaps I think we may actually just wait until full time and do that properly, just to make sure we get all those correct. So we prepare for the conversion from Tuigamala from in front of the sticks. So Tuigamala steps in, adds it, and we go out to a 12-point advantage again. So wrapping up some of those results from around the grounds. Otahu have got up, according to our results at least, for a huge victory over the Mount Albert Lions. That is their first loss of the year. And the Leopards, well, they've beaten Point Chev. They've now beaten Mount Albert, tracking along very, very nicely, are Otahu. Marist, they've had a big victory, 42-28 over the Richmond Bulldogs. Howick, by our count, have got up 26-18 over the Glenora Bears, and Point Chevalier, no trouble for them, 44-0 over the Manyarewa Marlins, who have struggled through the start of the competition and certainly need to find some form very quickly if they are to avoid the drop down to the Fox Championship competition. So 12 points the gap now. Less than 9 minutes to play by our count. And the Northcote Tigers in control. It's going to take something special from here for the Papakura Seagulls. There's a deep restart, which is claimed, and then winding up from the back fence, the big fella for Northcote, who takes it back to them. Their forwards have been good today, haven't they, Troy, for Northcote? A couple of real standout performers.
Yeah, this guy's been tough.
Yeah, Joe Bywater, absolutely. Eddie Finota as well, the captain, has carried really well. And David Barner has just marshalled the game at dummy half beautifully.
Barnstormer.
Speaking of David Barner, he earns his team a penalty with a cheeky little run out of dummy half. And Troy, your pun in the background was not missed. And you can feel free to stop that whenever you like.
I've got a 6-pack of puns for you, mate, coming up.
Come on, guys.
Tigers on the prowl.
All the way.
So Kenny Stewart get us back underway. Here's Nalu. Tuigamala winds up again. Chews off a few extra metres.
Yeah, and I reckon he'd be one of the big meter eaters today. He's certainly done a ton of work.
They play out the back and then heavy contact on Ruka Tipaina.
Move! Oh! Go 2.
Tamoti Cook. Tully on his shoulder. Will miss him out and go to Tough Fotu. Tough Fotu. Big and strong. Gets the offload away. Vitini Abua
6 now.
then taking the ground. A try here would end the game, you would think, in terms of the contest at least. Bywater straightens it up and runs it hard. There's a late contact from BT, but play on is the call.
Get off the ball.
Tully the dummy half.
You've got to get out of
Do they think about a field goal here?
Do that and put finger.
They move out to this right side. Tuigamala with a bit of footwork to Kenny Stewart, who's got his eyes on a hat-trick.
Release.
Is the one-pointer in play? It would make it a 13-point lead. No, they're going to go the right side instead. Tiaho, very close, but he's got a whole lot of maroon underneath them, and they hold him up.
Hand over. Far enough. It's only the side. Oh!
Bit of a disagreement going on over there.
Hand over. Wait. One line here, guys. All have a look. Have a look, guys.
Back it up.
0. 1 stand. Hold. Go.
As we let the pitchers do the talking.
Danny, break
Seagulls trying to grind it out from inside the 10 there.
Hold.
Trying to hurry this, play the ball up.
Looking to move this ball now early in the set. BT, it's back in field. They get a penalty.
My apologies, that was the 20.
10 metres.
So there's hope yet for Papakura.
Yeah, he's interfered with the
BT
play.
looking to put this one into touch and does so. So they probably need a try on this set, you would think.
12.
Ropati with the tap and the go.
Hold! Let him up! Hold! Go 1.
Willie Stowers is sort of hovering in back play. He looks injured to me, and the trainer is running over to him. He's struggling big time. He's probably a player that they need if they are to wrestle some points away from this contest. Radic at the line. Singh. He's been very good today, Andre Singh. Crabs across field. Bywater wrestles him to ground. Singh felt that one.
Hold! Go 3.
Hunt to Polder. Polder then tips on. Here we go. Papakura. Yes, they will. They'll go over the line, and it is the big number 15, Fetu Ikahifo, who powers his way through. Sort of came out of nowhere, that one. I know they were close to the line, but a fairly pedestrian-looking set up until then. But Ikahifo just burst it open with a powerful carry.
The SAS Fox replay, and we can see here, nice little pop pass, and it looked like this was all but done there, and the tackler fell away. And he was surprised himself, I think, as the referee stepped to one side and said, I'm going through there. So 4 points next to the SAS upright.
And the kick is good from Radic in the background. And so, 6-point ball game.
Shaping up to be a cliffhanger. Where Sea Eagles dare.
Ball boys. Okay.
And we're going to Yep, I think we do have just checking the official scoreboard up on the hill, which perhaps is not so official. There was a little confusion about the score, but I believe we do have it right, 30 points to 24, and one score in it. And if our clock is correct, probably both teams get a use of the football here. We're in for a thriller, Troy.
Let's go, Seven.
So Timothy Cook gets us underway with a high one. Radic looking into the sun, he drops it.
And that's why it went high. And you can almost feel the tension starting to mount from here.
So Northcote ball, they'll start this set about 15 out from the line. It's an unfair moment for Drew Radic, who's had a really, really good game. Has fielded probably 3 or 4 of them today comfortably, but that time looking into the sun, and you're quite right, Troy, perhaps a smart tactical play from the Northcote Tigers to put that one up in the way. Yeah. So any points wins it here for Northcote. Tully dancing his way through, breaking out of 1, breaking out of 2, still going as Tully. The field goal surely has to be an option this time if they don't get their way to the try line, which Tully intends on doing. Phoenix Hunt takes them to ground. They're inside the 10 now. They fire up now through the big fella. This is the 16, Tafiti. Barner at dummy half. Comes back to the middle. Finota.
No, he's going to let it go.
Barner. Looping ball back towards the middle of the park. Tuigamala now. Tuigamala looking for a gap. Gets the offload away. Barner. Barner, he may well take the tackle here. And the penalty. And you would think they take the 2 here and they finish this game off.
He's all on the ball, mate. You're not the captain. You're not the captain.
Just about every Northcote person at the ground is pointing to the posts, and unsurprisingly, that is the way they will go, which should ice this game. And we will have the Northcote Tigers improve to 5 from 5. And with Mount Albert losing today, Troy, they are outright leaders of the competition. Right. Happy days in Tiger Town.
Happy days in Tiger Town, breaking that one out, eh? Well, I dare say there'll be a couple of green teas happening over there on the shore tonight, and congratulations to Bobby and the senior exec. They'll certainly be very, very happy with today's result, and what a fine group of young men they are.
So do stay with us post-match. We'll hear from both captains as Nalu Tuigamala lines up this kick. Willie Stowers for the Papakura Sea Eagles and Eddie Finota for the Northcote Tigers, the number 8. Tuigamala puts that one over, stretches the lead back out to 8.
On short.
Siren goes in the background. It's claimed by James Waterson. Northcote win this one as we get a little bit of argy-bargy to finish the day. It is the Northcote Tigers who win 32 points to 24 over the Papakura Sea Eagles. Northcote Tigers go outright top of the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership qualifiers ladder with a perfect 5 from 5 start to the season. A very short break before we get to field side with the 2 captains.
Pretty normal for that hill. Oh, it doesn't change year after year. It's not like they do anything about it. I don't know if it's that or a few too many.
We're now joined by captain of the Papakura Seagulls, Willie Stowers. Well, Willie, that one was there for the taking, but just couldn't quite ice it. Where did it fall short?
Yeah, I think, we're our own worst enemies. Well, it's just the start. Every time we start, we don't have good starts in it. The team gets on top of us, get a little bit ahead of us. We come back, we're good at coming back, but if we can fix our start, we'll be good.
How much of a distraction was it, and how hard was it to come back after the injured player? Obviously, really hard to see your mate on the ground like that. How hard was that to overcome?
Yeah, it was a tough loss with Raj. That happening, it is a bit tough, but it goes on both teams. Both teams got to try and get back into it, and they came out more, wanting it more after that. So yeah.
4 losses on the trot now. Where do you go from here, Willie?
We just take it one game at a time. We go back to training, we go back to the drawing board, and we just start from there.
Yourself, you picked up a hamstring injury. Is that looking serious?
Yeah, well, we'll let the physio assess it after this and see how it goes. So yeah.
Willie, thanks for joining us. Commiserations on the loss today, and all the best for the rest of the qualifiers.
Cheers, thank you.
Right, we're now joined by Jordan Tiaho from the Northcote Tigers. Well, Jordan, that was a tough old game. You led for, I guess, the entirety of the game, but Papakura just refused to go away. What did you make of it?
We just let them in with a couple of mistakes, and they get their tail up, and they're hard to stop with some of their big fullback, and they just got a good roll on there, but we're lucky to scramble enough and come away with the win, luckily.
Speaking of forward packs, your one very good today. Eddie in the middle of the park and Nalu out on the edge, really good. What did you make of the platform they laid for you guys?
They just get us some good go forward and muscle up on D to slow down the tackle and play the ball there to let us sit on D, but they get us the initial go forward, which makes life a lot easier coming off the back of them.
A large stoppage for the injured player. How did you feel like you guys handled that, and you seemed to get straight back into it when you came back on?
It's rough seeing Raj get injured like that. He was actually came from Northcote last year, and so it's hard to see someone like that, but we just scrambled and came together pretty well as a team and stayed warm, stayed focused, so it came out all right.
And you're getting a bit of attention from your teammates in the background there. 5 from 5, Jordan. Congratulations, it's been a great start to the year, and all the best for the rest of the qualifiers.
Cheers, thank you very much.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our coverage here from Prince Edward Park. It is the Northcote Tigers who go outright top of the Fox Memorial Premiership qualifiers with victory today. We're back in action next Saturday for Bay Roskill up against Glenora. Until then, thanks for joining in, and we'll see you in a week's time.
Yeah.